Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Mark Anthony's Music Picks. Today is episode 168, and as the title suggests, this episode is going to center around the very prolific Circulation Color Series. Circulation, as many of you progressive house heads know, is a duo, Matt Jackson and Paul Davis, who started releasing their epic color series in 1998. The first record that they released on the Color Series was Orange, and they ended up wrapping up the Color Series, at least in the vinyl format, in 2005 with the Ivory release. Now, my history with Circulation goes back a ways. When I first stumbled into Circulation records when I was collecting from, I used to go to 611 Records down in Philadelphia pretty regularly when I could get down there, and there was always a fresh set of Circulation records to flip through and take a look at in one of the bins there. And I grabbed onto it. I liked Tech House. I liked Progressive House. They were very DJ-friendly records. So the Circulation series to me has a very nostalgic feel. I think I owned 2 or 3 of them up until we got to about the pandemic, and I came back and I listened to a couple of them that I still had, and I was like, oh wow, these have aged really well, and it kind of made me feel good even just looking at the records. For a lot of my collecting, I get a special feeling when I look back at old records. It reminds me of people I was hanging out with and parties I was going to and friends that I was going record shopping with. So it has a very nostalgic feel. So I then started to try to bring that nostalgia back by attempting to collect them all. So I did. The one seller that I really hit up pretty hard was Micah. For any U.S. buyers who buy in the States, if you buy Tech House and Progressive House and Deep House, you've probably stumbled onto Super Micah's listings. He put his whole Circulation series up. He might have had most of them, if not all of them. So I just kind of like bulk bought them from him. So thank you for that, Micah. They've all been in great shape, and you did a great job on grading those as well. So I ended up with the entire color series. I didn't even realize how many of them that I had purchased until I was about to make this episode. And I sat down with a mission. I said, okay, I'm going to listen through the entire color series, pick out the ones that sound the most appealing, and then kind of like refine that list down to maybe a top 5 or a top 10. But I think at this point I got to about 25 records deep, and I was like, okay, this is way more than I thought it was going to be. Some of the records I was listening to them 2 or 3 times, like kind of evaluating if I was in a gray area, if I was like, do I like it enough to review it or not? So it ended up just being this like massively time-consuming thing. So like I said, I only got to about 25 records deep, and I said, okay, I've got 12 or 13 samples here that I'm going to pick from, and I'm going to just whittle that down to 5 so I can get an episode out for you guys. I haven't done anything in probably 2 months, and I just wanted to get one on the board. So if you notice, I named it Part 1. As I go through the remaining 12 or 10 or whatever records I have left, I might come back and do a part 2 if I find some more inspiration in those. But for now, you're just getting like basically the first and best 5 that I found out of the random 25 that I selected here. So anyways, thoughts on the Circulation catalog. I think, especially given that they were released in 1998, a lot of these sound way ahead of their time. Like for me, 98, 99, and 2000 records are generally like repulsive. I really try to stay back and stay away from them, especially producers that are messing with Tech House and Progressive House then. But there's only really, if I'm being like brutally honest, there's only like a few kind of like duds or tracks that I just really wouldn't want to hear out of the entire Circulation color series. And then for the ones that are good, it's like they're all like a 3.5 out of 5 for the most part, and then they range all the way up to 5 out of 5 stars. And I tried to pick the best ones for you here. I am personally very impressed with the consistency that these producers, Matt and Paul, created. I think that they were very musically talented. They tended to lean a lot on samples. So if any of the records that I feature here have a sample that you recognize from another track, or if you feel like it was used in another track, please let me know where, because I'm always curious, and it may not be called out on Discogs that, oh, like this loop or this little snippet actually is featured from an older record way back. So I would love to hear the history of that. That's all I have to say about the Circulation catalog. Like I said, super nostalgic. I plan on basically holding on to the entire Color series for years and years to come, and I'm going to be playing these a lot. I think even now, right? I think now if you wanted to roll up to a gig and play a daytime set, evening, night, if you just had the Circulation Color series with you and you had a 2 hour slot to fill or 3 hours, I think you'd be absolutely fine playing nothing but Circulation records. So that just shows how diverse they are. It's house, it's disco, it's tech house, it's techno, it's progressive house. It's a very eclectic and diverse mix, considering that it only came from those two producers, Matt and Paul. So bravo to you, and let's get started with the picks. My first pick for you is the Circulation Green, and I believe that this is the B-side that I've chosen here for you. And my pick on this was the track that has the Papua New Guinea sample in it. Papua New Guinea is a huge, huge track for me. Oh man, it's like I wish I was partying back in 1992. I didn't really start going to clubs until 1999, but Future Sound of London dropped Papua New Guinea with its various remixes starting in 1992. Very, very much ahead of its time. I mean, that track is a great example of how to stack multiple layers of melody and just like make them into basically what comes out to be like one of the most perfect electronic songs ever released. The element that I like the most out of the original Papua New Guinea is the gated synth. And then stacked on top of that gated synth is like a kind of like little three or four note, quick hitting, charming melody. And that melody was brought forth into this track, Green, on the B side. I guess that would be mix 2 by Paul and Matt. And I thought it was just a cool sample to grab. I think it was an excellent sample to grab, and they layered it with a really nice tech house beat. So if you like Papua New Guinea, which I do, I hold that song very near and dear to my heart, check out Circulation Green B-side. Let me know what you think. I mentioned in my intro that Circulation had the ability to play or create house and deep house and tech house and all these other little subgenres within the DJ realm. I thought that they did a great job on White with a daytime house record. I love it. I just want to take an aside. I just love how clean and simple these logos look. There's something about that font and just the way it looks, and there's something so collectible about a good Color series. I mean, not every Color series that's released on vinyl is worth collecting, that's for sure. But the ones that are good, there's something kind of compelling about wanting to get them all. That's coming from a true collector, right? Circulation White has a really, really cool violin sample in it, and I was saying in the beginning, if you know where this sample came from, if it came from like a song from another genre, or if it's another electronic track that was released in previous years, let me know. I thought that for a 2000 record that sounds basically like some straight up house, I thought this was and has aged greatly. So check out the violin sample here. Like I said, this is Circulation White, and I believe this is the A side.
Can you dig it?
And now I'm going chronologically. That White was released in 2000. We're now up to the year 2003 with what I think is the best record on the entire Circulation series. So this is Chocolate, and I think anybody that's tuning into this and owns some Circulation color, there's probably going to be some people that comment and say, yeah, I agree about Chocolate. Chocolate A-side is one of the most well-rounded tracks that I've found in the entire catalog. Like I said, I haven't gone through them all super deliberately yet, but it's going to be really tough to top this. There's something just totally ecstatic about it, and I'm basically using like the word ecstasy there. There's something in the charm of that deep vocal, and the, oh my gosh, it's like, it's such a smooth track. It's just like smooth, deep, sophisticated. Where would I play this? Man, it's not. I guess you could do it late night, but I would actually favor this maybe in like an evening set. Like if I ever had the privilege of playing a sundown set where it's like the sun's down and you're getting that pink effect across the horizon, I would soundtrack that with Circulation's Chocolate A. Absolutely massive here, and a mind-blowing record. I wish that I had ever gotten to hear this out, because I'm sure I would remember that. But absolutely monster here. Let me know if you also think that this is awesome. Chocolate A. My fourth pick for you is from 2004, and I mentioned in the beginning of the video that I thought Circulation did a good job of remaining timeless and also being somewhat ahead of their time, and I think this record here might be the best example of being ahead of its time. This is Circulation's Cherry, and it's the A side that I've chosen here. There's something really sophisticated that it almost sounds like an '06 minimal record that you would hear in one of Sven Väth's compilations, like in The Sound of the Sixth Season, or maybe in a Cocoon compilation, but from years in the future. There's something about that deep kick and that sound that's accompanying the kick that almost sounds like a synth that's being played backwards. I thought that that was really novel. I mean, I can't think of another '04 record that has this level of sophistication and kind of it's almost like a premonition of the minimal era that was to be born in '05 and '06. So it's like Paul and Matt beat them to the punch here. But like I said, if you like Sven Väth records, if you like that twisted kind of like Iso-Lee, Pillow Talk, Accidents Grotesque, that whole like weird melodic twisted sound that was really popular in '05, '06, '07, check this out. I think that Circulation Cherry just absolutely crushes it. And my fifth and final pick for you is also from 2004, along with Cherry. And I thought that this was really sweet because you won't find too many other tribal sounding records in the Circulation catalog. And in fact, I haven't found any, but I just thought the percussion in here was so like drummy and badass that it really was worth a mention. This is the Maroon B side. And I don't have a ton to say about it because it's really ultimately like three-quarters of a track, like 25% DJ tool, but there's just something really sick about the percussions in this. The drums are laid out in a la Victor Calderone and Danny Tenaglia, as if it were just inspired by the best and deepest drums that you could find in this era. So check this out. I think that this absolutely rocks, and I pitched down the sample a little bit because I thought it drew out the kick drum. This has a really nice, solid, thick kick drum that would really rock a system. So even today, what's that, 21 years later, Maroon B for the win, tribal all day, every day. All right, this concludes the first part of my Circulation Color Series review. Like I said, if I can find 5 more that I'm really interested in, I'll come back and do a part 2. I also reserve the right not to, but more importantly, I don't do any ads on this channel, so if you can, please comment, share, send to a friend, click the like button. Just let me know you're out there. I'm not, like I said, I'm not generating any revenue from it, so it would just be great to have the channel expand as much as possible and try to blow up. I love meeting friends and seeing the frequent commenters that I see in the comments section. It's really nice to hear from you guys, and I just love the positivity that this channel has generated. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening all this time, and take care.